Welcome to this week's Webinar Wednesday, on a day where the sun shines through the roof skylights, and we've had a couple of technical problems, but just managed to get here in time, haven't we, Alistair?
We have. We always manage to just pull it out the bag. So it's a year on. It's officially a year on since lockdown, isn't it?
It is. I don't know whether it feels a long time or not. I don't know. But it's amazing. It is a year on, yeah. It's not quite a year we've been doing. Not quite a year that we've been doing Webinar Wednesdays, but a year on from since we first went into that lockdown, thinking it probably wouldn't last very long. Everybody, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't think any of us really thought that a year on would be bobbing back and forth between being out and being in.
Yeah. Okay. And we had our first you were just showing our first comment there, weren't you, Alistair?
That was our first comment. So that was just saying that we're going to be exploring this idea of a peer social network this week, which we're developing through our peer experience project on rights and risks stuff. And the draft name is MESH, More Exciting Social Lives and Holidays. So that's us just going to be discussing that at 10 past.
I mean, fancy talking about more exciting social lives and holidays at this time, Alistair. That sounds a little bit cruel.
It's slightly ironic, isn't it? It is.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is, but it's thinking about the future, of course. Thinking about what things can be like once we get out of this. Yeah, absolutely. That
sort of planning for what it's going to be like, and if anything, it's more relevant now because I think it's a lot of us have got more anxious about things, and there's a lot of people who haven't got the money to do things as well because of what's happened during lockdown. So yeah, we'll look forward to talking a bit more detail and getting other people's ideas about this as well, because it's very much in the early stages. So
okay,
so that's today's discussion. So what other stuff have you been up to this week, or what else have we got to talk about?
Well, tomorrow we've got the first of our spring lunchtime children's sessions, or sessions for anyone interested in self-directed support for children, young people and families. So we've got that happening tomorrow lunchtime. We've got
indeed.
Yeah, quite a lot of people signed up for that actually. So we're doing that on Teams. There we are. Yep. It's the first one, the last Thursday. We're going to do it the last Thursday of every month for the next few months, anywhere through to June, and then what we will do is take stock, as they say, and see how we're doing. But the first one is tomorrow. First one since for a few months, anyways. Tomorrow, and we are going to be joined by Callum from Social Work Scotland. We're going to be joined by Wendy from Shetland Children's Social Work. Going to be joined by Nick Crosby and lots of other people as well. So that's going to be tomorrow's conversation. Is first of all about the new social work standards and what this means for children and families, and then secondly about some of the work that we've been doing in Shetland and in other places, including Perth and Kinross. So yeah, that's tomorrow.
Exciting stuff. That's exciting stuff. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So and then other stuff will be
Sorry, I was just going to say tomorrow afternoon we are involved in looking forward with the Rights and Equalities work funded by the Life Changers Trust, which is part of what we're talking about. Yeah.
So there's that. So that's good stuff. We've also been having a bit more planning meetings about the work we've been doing about inclusive media. So representation of people with disability in the media, not just when people are put on TV or to talk about a specific subject, but also about opportunities for people with disability to get involved in careers in the media sector. So what we're doing at the moment is we're writing out to production companies, because it's production companies rather than TV companies that do a lot of this, keeping the records of who they would call, when there's a specific story to be discussed. And what we're trying to do is try and get them to look at what information they store about people. So if it was just about, say, for example, journalists who specialised in disability. You know, Michael McEwen might be on that list, but would they have his love of football or something else on, you know, something else that he had a strong interest in? So we're trying to make sure that there's a greater level of diversity, so that most of this stuff is not one-dimensional. It's you know, a bit more variety.
Yeah, his love of football and terrible jokes. Yeah, exactly.
Terrible jokes. I tell you, coming from yourself, that's a true true compliment from the master himself.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
So there's that, and obviously we've started our New Roots Home website. We talked about that the other week, and so now it's open for business. We're hoping that organisations and individuals will start engaging with that and really building up on what we can all do together to make institutionalization a kind of thing of the past, and how we can build each other's confidence. So really hope that folk get in touch about that.
Yeah, and of course we spoke a bit about the National Voice event last week as well, didn't we, Alistair?
We did.
Yeah, which was this Self-Directed Sport Scotland National Conference. So if anybody would like to sort of check in what that conference was like, I think you can access most of the content online now if you go to Self-Directed Sport Scotland's website.
So that's really good stuff. Look, we've got Keith is more funny than me. There we are. We have yes, Michael on YouTube. Lovely, jubbly. Anyway. So there's something else that we're going to talk about, but it was forward to me from William Ray. So I wonder if we should just get him on, and we could talk about that before we talk about mesh. And let's welcome our guest, William Ray. Hi, William. No, can't hear you, William. You're on mute.
Oh, well, it would help if I'm unmuted, you know.
Yeah.
It would indeed.
Good morning.
So how are you doing this week?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad.
Why are you sitting there today, William? Are you in Inverurie today?
Yep, in Inverurie.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. So we've got a comment here about also need to think about how disabled people gain the experience or required qualifications for media or film roles on other areas. Yeah, that's an exceptionally good point, Karen. And there was one of the members of our last meeting that specialises in trying to create opportunities for folk to get involved in those, not just film roles, but also in the production side of media. And so there's a possibility of further sessions from him about learning the ropes and which tools to use and stuff. So stay tuned if you're interested in that, and we will have more stuff coming out shortly. So yes, William, before we go in to talk about mesh, just you sent me a link about this leadership course that SCLD is putting on. So that's been shared in the SCLD Stay in Touch page, hasn't it? Yeah. So just check. Is that showing up in the sharing
not
just
yet.
now?
No, not yet.
It sometimes does this. It sometimes wants me to do it twice.
Yeah, that's New York, isn't it? That's the New York.
New York.
Sorry, don't get me
this
started.
time. Yes, he'll be dancing next. He'll be dancing. Is that showing up this time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this is Could You Be a Future Leader? So this is Inspiring Scotland and Scottish Commission for Learning Disabilities are creating a leadership course. So it's a future leadership course open to 10 people with learning disabilities and will run from the 4th of May to the 24th of August, designed to help participants help with skills and tools to make the choices that are going to help them live the happiest and most fulfilled life as possible. So it's about developing skills within the community, ensure they're together empowered to participate as equal citizens. It'll be over Zoom, and it'll be Inspiring Scotland and SCLD. So they are taking applications by the 5 p.m. on Monday, the 12th of April, and interviews will have after that. And then there's an Easy Read flyer as well. Let's see if the Easy Read flyer comes up.
Am I right in thinking you said you'd help? That you would help me fill out the. Am I right in thinking you said you'd help me fill out the form, Alistair?
Oh, of course I will. I'm sure I shall. You could rope me in. So there's an Easy Read form. And so it's for people who are already doing work, volunteering, self-advocacy, campaigning on the part of a board or management or committee, which I know for a fact you fill pretty much all those roles, don't you, William?
Yep.
And so it's learned about how to be a leader, different skills, taking on responsibility, and you get it. And so it's taking part over Zoom, and you'll need to do some work before and after. That's basically it. You need someone to be a sponsor for you. So we need to understand what being a sponsor means. But yeah, so that's another bit of work, because you're not busy enough, are you, William?
No, I'm not busy enough.
There's at least 3 hours in the week that you're not on a Zoom call.
Or less.
Okay, yeah, that's it. So that's the link to the SCLD Stay in Touch, where you can find that. And then obviously there's an email address to go for, because we're always keen on opportunities for folk to learn the skills and be involved in leadership stuff, aren't we? It's all good stuff. And a bit similar, we've obviously been, as our part of our work with Stay Up Late, we've been working on that sort of like ambassador's role and things like that. We've been encouraging, like, all the way through, we encourage people to build those skills and get confidence. Another day, another day full of technical issues. Yes, I know. Is it sharing yet? I know. It's joy. Oh, I've just missed one here. I'm investigating this area currently for my daughter, who's a school leaver next year. Okay, well, Karen, we'll keep you in touch with the media stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, right. Okay, so will we start talking about Mesh then?
Yeah. Just say what. So Mesh is a working title, isn't it, Alistair?
It's a working title. So basically, I'll give you a little bit of history from it. This all started from a discussion that myself and Susan O'Reilly had, who I used to work with in Sea Change. Honestly, it must be about 3.5 years ago now. It's a ridiculous amount of time. And we started having a chat initially around about, well, she was initially thinking about just arranging wild camping weekends. You know, how could you arrange cheap and free get-togethers, because a lot of folk weren't managing a lot of stuff because of the cost. So we initially had a bit of a chat about, you know, what would it take to connect people around about that stuff? How could we give each other confidence to try something that was cheap or free? And initially, like I say, it was around about things like wild camping. And over the next couple of years, we've had a number of other conversations, and it's kind of grown into something else, which is more about a peer support network across Scotland. And the idea being that we could try and connect people. So the idea of Mesh was more exciting. Social lives and holidays was, it is a working title. Tried a couple of other ones and they were even worse. So just in case you think that's pretty bloody rubbish, you want to see the first couple.
Just gonna ask William what he thinks about the idea of wild camping.
Well, as I was saying, Alistair, What are we meaning by wild camping?
Okay.
Are we meaning off the beaten track in the middle of the Cairn Gardens, digging your own toilet, or are we meaning on a campsite where there's toilets and showers?
Yes.
Or is it the person who's wild? I'm looking forward to some tame camping, and that means I'm going to put the tent up in the back garden when the weather gets better. So I'm definitely, seriously, I will do that, because we did that last year when shortly after lockdown when the weather was nice, and it was almost like going away, a holiday in the garden.
Yes.
But anyway, you got to make the most of those small things, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's one of the things, isn't it? That whole thing about, there are places. We did have a discussion about whether or not we meant like a bring your own shuffle sort of, or there are places like, say for example, the back of Benihee in Aberdeenshire, where you can wild camp as long as you're careful, but there is there's like public toilets at the start of the walk. At the moment, of course, everything's shut and locked up. But once that's opened to the public, then that would be an option. So but that wasn't that was the start of it. But the idea was that it's going to be much more than that now. It's kind of so what we basically, and how we started talking about it here was, we're doing this work as part of our work with care experienced young people, and it was about what are some of the barriers for people for having a good social life and maintaining good mental health. And we started chatting about this, and so part of the idea is that we're the group's helping to shape it, but it's not going to be an exclusive group to any particular. It's going to be for everybody. It's going to be all adults. That we should be clear. It's all adults. There's no. So we should let me just share this, and you can let me know if this works. Okay, right.
Yeah,
that working okay?
Yeah, that's working.
Good.
Yeah.
So this is, again, it's a work in progress logo we've got. We're working on it. Amanda's been working on improving it. So
I have to say I like that one.
You like that one with it? Yeah, with the colours and stuff. Cheers. Yeah. So we're trying to make it readable, but not too overpowering. But
do we want to explain the stars? How we're trying to recreate a 1980s program?
Well, that was it. Yes. Keith, you're old enough to remember. Do you remember MASH?
Yeah. No, I can see that. I can see that there. Definitely, I can see that. Yeah. Well, in the style of MASH. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was just a bit of that, but it does turn out that I'm, we're getting to that age where there's so many people that don't get the joke, that don't get the reference. So there might be further adjustments to it, but partly as well, we thought just some nice, colourful stuff, some casual stuff, something that looks quite friendly, and although it's about reducing isolation, connecting people online, and through shared interests. We didn't want it to have a boring title. You could have a title saying keeping yourself well, or what I mean, and connected or something, but we didn't want something that was servicey. So that's why so far we've gone for more exciting socializing holidays. So it's quite bold, but it's that's kind of so the idea is that it's an inclusive support network. So we just had a bit of a chat at the Care Family Meet, didn't we, William? Can you remember some of the stuff we talked about in terms of things about where to draw the line? So we had a bit about.
We had a discussion about. Did we not have a discussion about people's past and criminal convictions as well? And we felt it was a difficult one to deal with, because everybody deserves a second chance, but where do you draw the line there?
So it was that thing about how responsible were we going to be for people who got involved in this? Were we going to be? Was it a service, or was it something different. And I guess what we were trying to do was make sure that it felt safe. I'm just going to take the banner off there just so that we can see more of the screen. But that we didn't want it to feel too claustrophobic as well. So it's that, and I think we're keep an eye on that. One of the parts of what we're looking for was saying maybe about folk meeting together in a public place the first time, for all the connections to come through us to start with, so that we would always know when somebody was meeting. So that's a safety issue. We had a bit of a discussion about age as well. So some people said that we should maybe start this, if it was adults only, from 16 and some from 18. And I guess that because there's different layers to it as well, in terms of whether you're just catching up to do something in a public place, you're meeting somebody off a bus or helping show them a way to go there somewhere, or it could be end up with something like a group going wild camping. We thought it's probably any of the bigger stuff, any of the overnight stuff or anything would be reserved for the 18 plus, just to kind of keep that safer. So the 16 to 18 would just be kind of meeting up in public places stuff. So all of this is up for discussion, but I guess that's been really helpful stuff as part of our first 2 meetings we've had, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't agree. What we didn't have a discussion about, I suppose, was the geographical location of where we thought it would be. So we thought it would be all over Scotland. Yeah, exactly. We're just thinking about that kind of all over Scotland, and just trying to get as many people volunteering to be that sort of peer support across Scotland, and then we could support people to develop their skills. So and the idea was not to have something that takes over or gets in the way, but that, as it says on here, like sometimes it can be finding somebody with similar interests that can be the problem. Sometimes it's confidence, money, transport, your disability, support costs, having people you identify with and trust. So we've had a bit of a discussion in the group about that, because some people have really said that it's okay to be offered something, but if you're not confident about trying it, you really need somebody to help you to make it happen. And if you think you're going to get there and you're going to feel, oh, I really don't know where I'm going or what have you, that's a real barrier for a lot of people. So we thought that this would be quite a good way forward, and that some people will have a lot of people in your life. You've got your existing connections and people who could do things with you, but that we're just saying we're not taking the place of this, but we're trying to say here's another layer, here's another. So you've got your friends, any peers, and any support you've already got, any groups you're part of. And then we're not trying to reinvent the wheel and recreate any organization that's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think at the time when you first started having this discussion with Susan Alistair was when you were obviously at Sea Change, and I think Susan was at Dates and Mates. But I think it was then you said you wouldn't try and recreate either Dates and Mates or anything else that was there.
Yeah, it was just after. I mean, it was literally within about. I think it was about 3 months after I'd set up Positively Minty that we had the first conversation about it. So it's 3.5, coming on for 4 years. Yeah, it'll be 3. I mean, because it'll be 4 years this month since I set up Positively Minty. Blimey, how does the time go?
And I was just thinking about some of the other things. Obviously, some of the other things that we know we link to, like Gig Buddies as well. Obviously,
absolutely.
Yeah,
Gig Buddies get together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's lots of these things that are focused around a specific interest group and building confidence. And ideally what we're thinking is there's all these things around which are really great. And if you're going beyond that group, so if you're going beyond that and you're going to go, so if you're like, say if you're William and you're in Aberdeen and you're wanting to go to something in Glasgow, if you weren't confident about that, I know that Sean, for example, as part of our discussions to stay up late and talking about this, has said that he'd be quite happy to be like an ambassador for folk coming up for a night out in Aberdeen, for example, that he could, you know, if you were interested in saying, oh, I'm interested in this kind of pub or what have you, that he'd be quite happy to show somebody around and help them to feel confident about, you know, getting from the train station to there and back again and stuff like that. So that was, so it's just about, it's about another layer
I'm sure
to add
Keith
to it.
and neighbourhood networks would help, and Norma from Vias, you know. I'm trying to name drop as many organisations as possible so I don't miss anybody I'm involved with. And land up like Michael McEwen. Land up like Michael McEwen and never be able to live it down.
And never going to be live it down. That's one he will have to give him the right to reply to come back on that at some point. So we sort of said if we rush in with lots of staff and services, we can stop you from using your skills and get in the way a bit. So sometimes we've talked to some of the group and we've said that sometimes folk just need a bit of a push. It's whatever works for you. So initially, this is what we've said, but it's all up for debate, and we're going to be discussing it with different groups over the next sort of few months to try and flesh it out a bit. A space that's open to everybody over 16 years old, whether you have a disability, a health condition, or a caregiver or not. It's for everybody. Sharing resources, knowledge, interest, and skills, and a particular focus on low cost and accessibility. You know, we want to make this. A lot of the time, folk have said stuff just costs a fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And support to make connections, problem solve, and plan things without taking over. So again, that building skills and mutual support and minimizing paid support in a sustainable way. Mm-hmm. But and supporting you develop your skills and supporting others and the range of things, supporting people to dream big.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of it. So these are some of the things we've spoken about. So a member's website, which is what William's talked about, general information visible, but people have to sign up before they see other people's profiles. Because you were talking about that, William, about important to feel safe on these sites. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think we haven't yet talked about how much it would cost to sign up.
Well, I think we said free. We said free to sign up. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the things. Free to join. Whether or not there's anything that costs money to do, like if you're volunteer, if you're volunteer that's coming to meet you, if there's a cost to doing the thing, then it might be that you have to contribute for the other person to go and support you to do it. Yeah. But in terms of joining up to this, the plan was to keep it accessible, because if you can do free stuff, because some folk have got free bus passes, for example. So that's one of the things we said we'd make a list of is some of the free and cheap places that are available.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me started on the bus pass issue, Alistair.
Oh, the bus pass. Oh, I know. You get a bus pass and then you can't use it.
Then you got lockdown. I mean, it's absolutely terrible.
It's ludicrous, isn't it?
Whoa. Keith's not old enough for a bus pass.
I am.
Age 60. Yeah, and you get a bus pass at 60.
Anyway, we keep it down.
You said a bus pass for a whole year, folks, and you can't use it. So there's a volunteer. There's a volunteer for Edinburgh and Glasgow, desperate to use his bus pass.
Yeah.
So that's important stuff. So ground rules, we're still developing those, but just about respect, safety, confidence. We said about making sure that we could sort of referred by somebody in the group or connected to somebody you know, so that there's somebody who can kind of give you a reference, and don't have people's contact details on the site, so that people don't contact you through that. They contact through us, and we would know about the first meeting, and we'd start small, meet in public places, build up to more adventurous options.
Yeah, and there's lots of other things that you can link up to as well, because obviously we in one of our meetings heard from two of the people involved in Ewan's Guide recently, didn't we? And there's lots of really interesting information that's already out there that they've compiled around accessible places.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's easy read as well.
There's Ewan's Guide. There's Accessible. There's lots of stuff. Yeah. So if those folk are keen to share, then we could do that.
And there's discussion this afternoon around Access All Areas, isn't there? With Stay Up Late, through the Stay Up Late ambassadors, through that organisation Access All Areas, about accessible venues and so on, which again feels a bit strange at the moment, but hopefully in the relatively near future it might be something that we can at least begin to think about.
Yeah. I know it's I know, and especially the gigs is a big one for me, and I know you like your music as well, Keith. It's like
I've forgotten what it's like.
I know. I actually managed to bag Wolf Alice tickets for Glasgow Barrowlands on the 7th of January next year. So here's hoping it goes ahead and it's not the third wave or the fourth wave by then.
Or worse, or even worse, global warming's got some more snowed in.
And worse. Oh, the voice of doom. Anyway, so we've said a little bit about the going to bars and stuff, listing and linking with interesting adventuring options, and then one of the other things we're saying is about the backup option of somebody to call if plans go wrong. So if you're planning a meetup, particularly something for the first time, that we could have like somebody paid to be a bit on call, so that you're not just left if the volunteer lets you down, just to make sure that works okay until you get going, because it's that thing about confidence.
And
then,
so I'm just ask that question about if people are interested in finding out more, or they want to actually get involved as well. Just now, what's where we're at with that, and involving more people, and because you've been involving more people just recently, haven't you, Alistair and William?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're so we're having sessions because at the moment this work's funded through our Life Changes Trust work with care experienced young people. We are having sessions. So really with care experienced people throughout Scotland at the moment, really. So we put some stuff out. So we're keen to do that first. Obviously, if anybody's interested in it and isn't part of that group, then you can let us know, and we'll let you know once we've developed it a bit further. Because what we're trying to do is get a shape for it, get the name sorted, get what we're including sorted. And then what we'll do is probably set up the website, and that's at that stage we'll start to get more people involved. But certainly, if anybody wants to get involved, they could certainly contact the In Control Scotland email address, which I know that June has shared already, so that's good.
Yeah.
And then so we'll be pushing it with other groups around about Scotland to try and get other folk involved in the next wee while. So it's very early days.
Yeah, there we are. There's the info. So just contacting us on our normal info address is the best way to contact us about anything that you hear about or see online, or are thinking that you want to get in touch with us about. The other so the other things I was thinking about were about developing the web presence, but also thinking, like, if you were thinking a year on, how would you imagine this will be a year on from now?
Can you remember any of the stuff we spoke about, William? Any of the things that we said for like how we could, what sort of things we could do to develop the ideas? Can you remember?
A year on?
Yeah, well, some of the stuff so there was the web stuff that we could prepare for, but
yeah,
stuff about videos as well and stuff.
Yeah, we talked about videos and doing doodlies and polls and creating like a private Facebook page and stuff like that.
Yeah, so one of the examples, the videos idea was saying, like, some people, if they're anxious about trying to go to a new place and things like that, that we could do videos of saying, this is getting off the bus stop, this is where the entrance is, this is the layout of the building, so that people do have confidence to try that. And I've heard a few folks saying that they find that to be quite reassuring, because if they're going to somewhere new, the whole idea of feeling like, oh, it's too overwhelming, there's too much stimulus, I don't know where I'm going. So if I know where I go to for a ticket, I know where the toilets are, I know the rough layout of a place. So we're saying, as and when members are allowed, we could do that. We could do some of those short videos. People should have shared, hopefully in a year's time, people will have shared some of their stories about what they're looking for, and we can start connecting people, and folk will be trying some of the stuff out. So that's kind of the stuff that we were speaking about,
Yep.
Yeah. I was just thinking of I don't know why, but I was just thinking of when you came down to the We Are One Festival. Not last year. It wasn't even last year, was it? Now it was the year before last. Yeah. I'm just thinking about the way that you managed to get down and to get organised around coming down from Aberdeen to
even getting soaking wet feet won't get off the bus because of the Jumanji puddle.
Yeah.
There was. We had, and that's it. It's about that idea of what's possible and how we can stay in positive and helping one another and make stuff happen. And I think that was a really great memories. Yeah, it was. It's good stuff. And
Alistair's chips getting nicked by a seagull, and
that was Sean's. That was Sean's.
Oh, I thought it was yours.
That was Sean's. No, I was pizza. I wasn't chips. That was Sean. Was the chips. Yes.
So even the Glasgow seagulls are as vicious as the Aberdeen ones.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So there's lots of good fun things that we're hopefully going to start doing more of again. And so it's just building up towards it. So we're really keen for folk to try and get the most out of life, and not. I mean, if anything, this lockdown's made me think. No, let's not wait. Let's not. You can put things off, but actually, so many times folks say, well, what's happened about this? And it's like, oh, well, I'll maybe get to it. But it's like, let's make sure that we don't spend the rest of our life waiting. Let's just do it, because these are the stories that people, that make memories.
There's a great Hugh. I don't know whether you probably. Well, anyway, a few years ago we did those great self-directed support quotes of your time postcards.
Yes.
I don't know when that was. It's maybe 4 or 5 years ago now. Even it's quite a while ago. And there's a great quote from Hugh Laurie in that one of the postcards that we did, which is essentially just really saying the same sort of thing, Alistair. That there's no better time than now. And actually, if you wait for everything to be perfect, then you lose out on so much. So sometimes you just need to go. You just need to, within reasonable boundaries. Obviously, you just need to get on with something and do it, and then see what it feels like, and then maybe it'll be better next time, or maybe it'll be worse next time. But you're just learning as you go along. And I think it is. It's also that stuff about that person can't live there because we haven't got the perfect support for them. But if you look at where they are just now, then really, what are we waiting for? I mean, these are. That's a slight bit of a ramble there, but I'm just really trying to reinforce that. What we've been saying there, that actually sometimes it's better just to get on and do things, isn't it, and get them going.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're all about, isn't it? At In Control Scotland is connecting with lots of other organisations and saying, let's not reinvent the wheel, as William was saying, but let's say, with what you've got and what you're doing and what we can add, how can we join it together in the best way so that it forms like a bridge between things, so that people don't just try specific things and then not try others, but that they try the biggest range of things that they possibly can.
Yeah.
We've got a weird request from Jim McClay. Have you got a video of how you tracked your feet?
We hope not. We hope not.
We hope not. No, it wasn't just feet though. There was bags. Some folk had their bags on wheels, and it was about a foot deep. So not only were the feet wet, but sometimes the bag with all the clothes was soaking also. We're not selling it here, are we, William? We're not selling it.
No.
But it was.
I've never seen a wet ginger, Alistair. I'd never seen a wet ginger until that day, Alistair.
we got to the shops and we found where to get loaf and jam, and we're all good. And then we hit the gig.
Hit the gig and dried out, and we're all good.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Thank you. So that sounds really interesting. Yeah. Sure, lots of people will be interested in hearing how that develops further over time. So we're just sharing it today, aren't we, to let people know about it, to let anyone who wants to find out more get in touch, and if people want to get more involved as well, you're going to be setting up some more of those meetings, aren't you, over the next few months, really, just trying to engage people around this.
Yeah, and if people are if they are care experienced and part of any groups that are willing to meet and discuss about this, because this is to develop the website and stuff. We have got a little bit of funding, so we are paying care experienced people a small amount of cash for their time to get involved in this. So again, I think that's another really important thing. So
that reminds me, I think I still need to send you my bank details, Alistair, unless June's already got them.
Well,
yeah, well, we don't need to. You don't speak about that.
Yeah, if you just read them out, if you just hold your card up to the screen.
No, I think we're all right with that, William.
Let's not do that. You used your loaf to dry your feet.
What, that one?
My God.
Yeah, that one. That's okay.
Anyway, so
that's the one he hasn't been able to use for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts, William? About either mesh or anything else that's going on for you at the moment?
No.
You want to share?
No, it's been a strange, I would say, a strange old year, and we've just got to not wait now and grab the bull every day by the horns and just get on, just do it.
And you've just had your vaccination as well.
Tell me about it. I got it on Monday, and this is the first day I felt normal.
Is it?
Yes.
What did your arm feel funny, or was it just
arm felt funny? Overnight on Monday to Tuesday, my legs were so funny. It was hilarious. My bathroom smelled like a dirty old nursing home. And in the old days when you walked in, it smelled of urine, and you backed off and you went, "Oh, let's get out of here!" And you can say "boo." So yeah.
Okay, but so that's good.
Apart from that, today I'm just feeling a bit wabbit and hungry, and Anyway,
it's good that you've had that, and it's good that you're on your way to it. Yep. Excellent. Okay, and next, so you're not going to be around next week, are you, Alistair?
I'm not going to. No, I'm going to be having a week off next week. So
okay, so next week it will
you're having a total week off, Alistair, not a busman's holiday.
Yeah. So next week it'll be me and June doing Webinar Wednesday, and the plan is that we're going to talk to some parents next Wednesday on our Webinar Wednesday of the, what would it be? Still the last one of March, isn't it? So it's the 31st. It's the
last one in March, yeah, exactly.
31st of March. So the last one for March 2021. Okay.
Perfect. All right. Thanks again for joining us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.